Hi, Aidan here again, and welcome to another Golf Predictor tutorial. In this video, we will begin looking at the main part of the site, the prediction stats. So without further ado, go to the predictions menu and click Rankings. So here we have the prediction rankings page, and this consists of a mechanism for choosing the tournament of interest, which are these three drop-down boxes here, and some more information on the tournament on the left hand side and the course on the right hand side. You can also click on these little icons here to see more information on the tournament and on the course respectively. I shall be covering these tournament and course pages in a future video. Okay, so let's look at the data table in more detail. You can see here the columns with their abbreviated titles. Now if you don't know what any of these abbreviations mean, or you've just forgotten, you can scroll down to the bottom of the page and see a key table there. So for example, it tells you here that SLC stands for the similar length course average. Okay, so we'll head up to the top of the page again to see what's available. So let's look at a few charts first. If you wanted to see who is the highest world ranked in the field for the 2015 Greenbrier Classic, you would just click the highest world ranked chart. And here you see a bar chart showing the highest ranked players in the world that are in the field. So hovering over will give you more information. So for example, hovering over Bubba Watson, you see he's number 3 in the world and he's got an average of 7.39 world ranking points. So I'll press return to go back to our previous page. We'll also have a quick look at probably my favorite chart on this page, which is the field strength chart. So just click on that. And here you see the world ranking distribution for the tournament. So you can see, for example, that there are 10 players in the field that are in the world top 50. There are 20 that are ranked from 1 to 150 and so on down the line. So this chart gives at a glance the distribution of the field in terms of world ranking, so you can see immediately how strong the field is. So again, hovering over a bar gives more information. So hovering over the 51 to 100 bar tells you that there are 16 people in the field in this category, and that corresponds to just over 10% of the field. And there's more information up here which shows you the average world ranking in the field is just over 300. The standard deviation, which is a measure of the how spread out the data is. So you can see in this chart it's pretty spread out. There's a wide distribution of world rankings. It also shows you the highest, which is Bubba's at 3, and the lowest, which is the default. So anyone outside the top 1,000 in the world is given this default world ranking of 1,050 in Golf Predictor. Over here on the left we have an interesting metric on Golf Predictor, which is the field strength. You can find out more information by just clicking on this, which will bring you to the blog post on it. But basically I have developed an algorithm that examines this distribution of world rankings in a field, and that coupled with the actual size of the field and a couple of other parameters, it calculates the field strength as a percentage. So the higher this percentage, the higher the quality of the field. So any value over 80% is excellent, which you usually find in the WGC events and also in the Players' Championship. Okay, so press return again to go back to the previous page. So let's take a look at the columns on this data table. The first column is the GP rank, and this is closely related to the last column, which is the overall GP score. Now, to explain this, the GP score is a number out of 100 that the Golf Predictor algorithm assigns each player as it goes through the field and analyzes statistics. The higher this number, the more likely the player is to do well. It's not a mathematical probability, because if it was, you could almost put your house on Bubba at 86.5%, but rather this number, the GP score, has been normalized to a percentage value. This was done mainly to make it easier to digest for ordinary people, because the mathematical probabilities would be less than 1% for almost all the field, which would make it difficult to read and to get any meaning out of it. So the higher the GP score, the higher the rank, i.e. the lower the number. So for example, if you look over here in the right column, as you go down the list, the numbers get smaller, and correspondingly the rank number also gets higher. So the higher your GP score, the higher your rank. Okay, so the next columns then are the golfer name and nationality. Then you have the next three columns show the golfer's average finishing positions in several metrics. For example, the first column here is their average in the current season. The next column is their average in the last 5 events, and this might help you spot golfers in recent good form. And this SLC stands for similar length course, so it's the golfer's average on similar length courses, which might be handy for extra long courses, for example. The final three columns here before the colored column are world ranking, cut streak, and win streak. And the final column here, which is colored in various shades of green, is the performance likelihood column. Now I'm going to talk about this in more detail in its own tutorial, so for now just know that the deeper the shade of green, the more likely that the golfer could pull a performance out of the bag. So I'll explain that in more detail in its own tutorial. Most columns on Golf Predictor are sortable, and this is true for this particular table. So for example, if you want to see who is the longest cut streaks in the field, just simply click on the cut streak header. Wait for the partial update to finish, and as you can see, this has ranked the field by the lowest cut streaks, which is not what we want. So again, just click on the column once more to sort from the longest down, and as you can see, the highest number of cuts made, or the longest cut streak, is a surprisingly low 7, and that has been done by Perez and Kisner. The final thing I would like to say about this data table is that you can click on either the golfer first name or surname to get into the prediction data page for that golfer for this tournament. So for example, clicking on either Pat or Perez will bring you into Perez's prediction data page for 2015 Greenbrier Classic. We will be covering the prediction data page in the tutorial very soon, so please watch out for that. As you can see there, if you hover over the golfer first name, you can see a very handy season synopsis. So for example, for Pat Perez, you can see that he has played in 14 events with 2 top 10s and 1 miscut and no non-finishes or wins. I should also mention that the prediction page for each golfer has an enormous amount of stats, so it's well worth checking out the video tutorial on that. The final thing I would like to say about this page is just to mention the Tour drop-down box here. As you saw when we got on this page, it defaulted to the US Tour. You can also pick the European Tour or both, which will show both European and US Tour events in this tournament drop-down list underneath. Now, because this tour box appears on many different Golf Predictor pages, and because you might only be interested in one particular tour, you can actually set the default for this tour box on your GP profile page. So to do that, you go up to the My GP menu and click on Edit View Profile, and that will allow you to select a default value that will always appear in these in this tour box. Okay, that's about it for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.